In this go-for-a-punch world in which we live, where we spend our days with SpongeBob SquarePants and our nights strolling London after midnight, you may think you've heard of everything we've yet to find. But there is more unknown in this world than you could possibly imagine. This is lesser-known lost media.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, and we are here with Volume 10 of Lesser Known Lost Media. We're celebrating a lot of things today. Not only are we celebrating 10 installments of what has quickly become my most popular feature on this channel, we are also celebrating 200 subscribers. It is absolutely amazing to me that after it took over a year to just get 50 subscribers, we have gotten up to 200 in about a month and a half. So later in the video, I will be announcing how to enter the 200 subscriber miniature giveaway. Also, in honor of getting 200 subscribers to this channel, I have started another channel. It is called Creepy Monkey Pasta, and it is a creepypasta channel where I read creepypastas. Mostly some of the classics, but occasionally there'll be something new as well. I've wanted to do a creepypasta channel for a while. Creepypastas are actually what got me back into YouTube after I had ignored the platform for many years. So please go check out that channel. Link will be in the description. As always, I want to thank you all for your continued support, and if you would like to support the channel more, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as check out the Patreon, and maybe check out my Etsy, eBay, and Mercari, and maybe buy a miniature. And without further ado, let's get to Volume 10 of Lesser Known Lost Media. As always, the first 4 pieces will be family-friendly, safe-for-work pieces. The final piece will be not safe for work. Coming in at number 1, we have Medusa, a lost Leonardo da Vinci painting from the 15th century. Now, if you don't know who Leonardo da Vinci is, he is a Renaissance polymath, one of the greatest geniuses throughout all history, painter of the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. And Medusa is, of course, the Gorgon of Greek legend whose gaze could turn people into stone. Now, Leonardo has several lost paintings, at least the original is lost, but we do have copies of most of them. Or at the very least, a conceptual sketch that he drew before painting the actual painting. But with Medusa, we don't have any of that. The actual painting and what specifically it looked like is lost. However, it is well documented. So the story goes that Leonardo wanted to paint a painting that would have the same effect on someone as staring at the face of Medusa. Not specifically to turn them to stone, but to elicit fear. And so in order to inspire himself, he went into his rooms by himself along with lizards, grasshoppers, serpents, butterflies, locusts, bats, and other strange animals. And it is said that from this he produced a great an animal so horrible and fearful that it seemed to poison the very air with its fiery breath. This he represented coming out of some dark broken rocks with venom issuing from its open jaws, fire from its eyes, and smoke from its nostrils. A monstrous and horrible thing indeed. It is also said that his work truly was terrifying and inspired many other painters of the time to make their own works of Medusa. And yet, we do not specifically know what his looked like. It has disappeared, we don't know where it is, we don't know if it was destroyed, it's just gone. And I truly hope that this one does still exist, that it has somehow been preserved somewhere and somebody simply doesn't know what it is or that they even have it, because when someone this genius and this creative sets out to scare people with one of his creations, I have to believe the result was truly terrifying. At number 2, we have the original arcade version of the PlayStation action-adventure game, Medieval. Now, I'm just going to start by saying I absolutely love this game. I played the original PlayStation version, I played the sequel, I played the PSP remake, I played the remaster on the PS4. I love this game. The game is about an unlikely and unwilling hero called Sir Daniel Fortescue, who is a 14th century knight who died in the first charge of a battle against the great evil sorcerer Zarok, and then 100 years later is resurrected when Zarok raises an army of the undead to conquer Gallowmere. Dan will basically have to conquer Zarok and prove himself to be a true hero, and he is, still undead, but still a coward. One of the things I absolutely love about this game is as you progress through the level, as you defeat enemies, you collect souls for the Chalice of Souls, and then you have to go find wherever it is in the level, and once you have, you then get to go to the Hall of Heroes, where one of the heroes of legend will give you a new weapon and promptly insult you for being a piece of shit. But anyway, the game is action-adventure, very similar to like a Legend of Zelda-style level-based game, but originally it was supposed to have a more arcade-like style. What the team working on it said would be more like Ghouls and Ghosts than Legend of Zelda. We have several demos of this version from promotional materials, but we do not have a more or less complete build of what the game would have looked like in this form. So we know there would have been many differences. There wouldn't have been any quest items. Definitely the layout screen would have looked different. You would have had a score instead of collecting souls for the chalice. You originally had a stamina bar, which is not present in the original game. Certain weapons that were in the game, that are in the game now, were not. Certain ones that were in the demos are not in the current game. Just a lot of little differences. And also, there were originally going to be 30 levels, but of which 8 were cut entirely. These being the Coffin Vaults, the Fields of Dust, the River, the Muddy River Bank, the Mud Slide, Circle of Shadows, the Silver Wood, the Hall of Illusions, the Hub, and the Great Machine. Of these cut levels, the Silver Wood is the most infamous, as it was originally a level that featured Dan fleeing from a dragon that was heavily inspired by the Jabberwock from Lewis Carroll's poetry. While the Jabberwock is still in the game, Dan running from it is now simply a cutscene rather than a playable level. So I'm not saying that this game as it was originally intended would be better than what we got. In fact, I absolutely love Medieval in how it came to the market in its final form. But as I've stated in previous videos, if you love something, you can never have enough content for it. And so I would really love to see this in its entirety. Also, we're going to throw in a bonus piece of lost media for you. Let's call this entry 2.5. There was a statue of Sir Dan that was going to be made by Level 52 Studios and distributed by Sideshow Collectibles that I pre-ordered from GameStop. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it got delayed and delayed and delayed and eventually canceled, which really sucked because I really wanted this statue. So hopefully someday this piece of media becomes unlost because I want my damn statue of Sir Dan. At number 3 we have Am I Beautiful, Kuchisake Onna, a partially found, unaired episode of the 2000 anime series Ghost Stories. So, if you don't know what Ghost Stories is, it is, in its original form in Japan, it was a run-of-the-mill, highly forgettable, just supernatural horror anime involving kids hunting ghosts. But the thing about this one that makes it so special is whether you are a filthy dub watcher like myself, or you are a purist who only listens to Japanese and has subtitles, or maybe you don't even need subtitles, this is an anime that you must watch the dubbed version. Because when they brought it over to America, they threw the script out the window and let the voice actors go to town on whatever they wanted to do, turning it from a supernatural horror to a dark comedy that is filled with some very dated but nonetheless charming pop culture references, and it is something completely unique, and it is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it. So, the third episode of the series was supposed to be Am I Beautiful, Kuchisake Onna, which you may be familiar with that name. It's an urban legend about a possible ghost or crazy person known as the Slit-Mouthed Woman. Basically, she wears a surgical mask and will look at you and say, "Am I pretty?" And, basically no matter how you answer, she's going to take that mask off, show you her disfigured face, and then try to kill you. So this episode was made in expectation of being the third episode, but there was a 15-second teaser, kind of like next time on Ghost Stories, that showcased what the next episode was going to be, and parents called into Fuji TV complaining, fearing that her disfigurement would be a little too close looking to, say, a cleft palate, and that it would be offensive. Apparently there are quite a few children who are born with cleft palate, and they could have been, it would seem like the episode was essentially calling them monsters. So Fuji TV caved, did not air the episode. The episode was not included in any DVD releases, and it was not in the dubbed American version of the show. It is unknown if Fuji TV even still has a copy of the episode, as it has never been seen, though we have found part of the original script as well as some concept art of Kuchisake Onna that was auctioned off along with other concept art from the show. Now, I really don't care about the Japanese version of this being found. Like I said, the show was very run-of-the-mill, it was very generic, highly forgettable, but what saddens me is that the American cast never got a chance to just have a go at this one. I'm sure it would have been absolutely hilarious, and if this video is ever found, if the people from this show are still in the business, could you please have a reunion and record your own dialogue for this one, because I would love to hear that. At number 4, we have King Koopa's Classic Cartoons. Try saying that 5 times fast. But King Koopa's Classic Cartoons was a spin-off of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show that was aired on local Fox affiliates in the LA area back in 1989 to 1990. It featured an actor in a rubber suit dressed as the titular King Koopa, and it was kind of a children's show in the vein of like Bozo the Clown. Now, the actual content of the show really had nothing to do with Super Mario Brothers. It was actually just showing public domain cartoons from the 20s and 30s, with some segments in between of King Koopa like reading fan mail and stuff. Now, while this was a test audience show in California to see if it would expand other places, there is some information out there showing that it may have shown in Arizona as well as possibly in the UK. The show was not successful, it did not last very long, and it did not get spread to other markets, and as such, all we have are a few snippets here and there of the show, and as far as I know, no complete episodes. It's just some weird, dumb kid show, but again, if you're a fan of Super Mario, you probably would love to have yet another thing to add to your Super Mario collection. Even as obscure as this one is, I am surprised that it is lost with how popular Super Mario is, as well as the fact that this was aired during a time where home VCRs were a thing and VHS recordings were definitely going on. And just considering that just the LA area, how many people live in that area, somebody has this. This is on a VHS cassette in somebody's attic or basement just waiting to be found, and they probably haven't thought about it since the 90s. But I have hope that we will find this one someday. Alright guys, now it's time to announce the 200 subscriber giveaway. I want to thank you all so much for making this happen. I did not believe, after the first year of doing this, very low subscriber counts, I did not know that this channel would blow up as quickly as it has been. And to say thank you to all of you for getting us to 200 so quickly, this giveaway is going to be a little different. I know in previous giveaways I've said that you must not only be a subscriber, but you must live in the United States. Well, we're not going to do that this time. I'm going to open this up to all of my viewers, so just let me know. It will cost me a little bit more in shipping, but it's worth it to say thank you to all of you. So what is this miniature you can potentially win? Well, I'm going to throw him up on the screen here. This is our gun-toting cyborg with 4 arms, 3 guns, and a jetpack. He is more machine than man and more mini than machine. So if you would like to win this 6-shooter cyborg, all you have to do is in the comment section, please post more mini than man. Again, I'm going to post that up on the screen so you know exactly what to type in. More mini than man. And we will have, this video is going live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, July 12th. And entry will end at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, July 19th. So in that time, just be sure to leave the comment, more mini than man, and you are entered to win. Once entry has closed, we will randomly select a winner, and then you will be able to reach out and contact me and tell me where I'm sending this miniature. This will be the last giveaway we do based on 50 new subscribers, we're going to up the ante and say that we will do a giveaway every 100 new subscribers. So again, we will be doing another giveaway at 300 subscribers. If you are interested in being able to win a free miniature every month, please go to my Patreon. I have several tiers, but the two top tiers of the Patreon, called the Chimera Club and Put Some Skin in Your Game, both have the people of that tier entered to win a miniature, basically a miniature giveaway every month. The Chimera Club will be in the running to win a custom one of my Chimerad miniatures, much like these giveaways here, while the top tier, the Put Some Skin in Your Game, will be in the running, anyone in that tier, to win one of my Not Safe for Work miniatures. And as always, please continue to support my channel by liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing the video around. And if you really want to be special, please check out my eBay, Etsy, and Mercari to potentially buy a mini. But most of all, I'm just thankful that you keep showing up and watching these videos. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the Not Safe for Work entry, and so if you don't want to see the Not Safe for Work content or hear about it, now is the time to click away, going into Not Safe for Work territory in 3, 2, 1. So our final one is a treat. It is not only not safe for work, but it is considered not safe for work and not safe for life on the Lost Media Wiki for its talk about excessive gore, violence, and sexual content. We are talking about the original cut of Hellraiser, the 1987 body horror film. Hellraiser was written and directed by writer Clive Barker based on his 1986 novella, The Hellbound Heart. The basic plot of this movie is that a woman named Julia is trying to resurrect her dead lover Frank by luring men to her house, seducing them, killing them, and then feeding their skin to Frank's partially reanimated corpse. Frank is in this state, having escaped from the demonic Cenobites. Meanwhile, Julia's stepdaughter, Christy, is trying to prevent Frank from resurrecting, as well as trying to steer clear of the demonic Cenobites who have come to this world trying to get Frank back after he escaped from their clutches. This movie has a very strong theme of that there is a link between pain and pleasure, and it views things like torture and, sadomasochism as essentially erotic in nature. So it was a very controversial film, even after it was edited, but it is critically acclaimed. People love it. It has spawned a huge series of far less successful films, but there were definitely a lot of cuts, because as much of a trip as this film is, it was supposed to be even more brutal. A lot of the cuts were, cutting down on the gore and the violence. Some of the murder scenes were shortened or cut altogether. There was one of the most infamous scenes being Frank being ripped apart by chains by the Cenobites is definitely a really, really gruesome scene that was apparently longer in the original cut. One of the weirder cuts is that there was a sex scene between a flashback sex scene between Frank and Julia that was cut because apparently there were too many thrusts to simulate butt sex, so anal. Basically, the MPAA told Clive Barker that the first two thrusts were perfectly fine, but the third one was where it got obscene. So apparently, having some stamina during your butt stuff is just right out, but letting a man get ripped apart by chains, perfectly wholesome family fun. Beyond the sex scene, Barker has stated that for most of these cuts, he actually agrees they make the film better, so it is unlikely that we will see the original cut anytime in the near future, though apparently as far as the availability of the deleted scenes, there is apparently a German cut release of the movie that has the extended chain ripping scene, because they took footage from a flashback that had more of the scene from Hellraiser 2 and used that to fill in the gaps. Personally, I think the film is plenty gruesome just the way it is. It is a classic, but again, if you're a fan of Hellraiser, I'm sure you'd enjoy being able to see some other scenes, or if you're a fan of butt stuff in your horror movies. And that's going to be our video today, guys. I want to thank you so much for your continued support, and I do so hope that you continue to enjoy these videos. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check the links, enter the giveaway, buy a mini, join the Patreon, and check out the new channel. But most of all, be sure to join me here again for Volume 11 of Lesser Known Lost Media. Again, I cannot thank all of you enough for your continued support, and until next time, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!